Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to All Natural Bible Study here in the Bible Bistro. We're in the dining room of the Bible Bistro this week, and as I said, this is all natural because, well, as we found out yesterday, the world has been created for the glory of God. It declares His glory. It speaks of the work of His hands. And we talked about that yesterday, day-to-day bubbling up speech. It's every day we see nature declaring God's glory. Today we're looking at verses 4, 5, and 6. And before we read, let me just remind you of Message Tribes. If you've not checked it out yet, I wish you would. MessageTribes.com/dailydoseradio. You can go there and sign up to get a daily alert on your mobile device. That alert will be our memory verse of the day. We'll give you a verse from the psalm that we're studying. It will be aligned with the verses that we're reading for that particular day. So just go there, check it out, sign up. It's a good service. So check it out, MessageTribes.com. Looking at verses 4, 5, and 6 in Psalm 19. In all the earth their line goes forth, for so they fill it to the end of the world. For the sun, a tent has been placed in them. And he, like a bridegroom, comes forth from his chamber. He rejoices like a mighty man to run his course, from one end of the heaven to the other, and his circuit unto the end. And there is nothing hidden from his heat. Again, we're looking at the created order here. The earth, it says, in all the earth their line. What's that talking about? Their line goes forth. And so they fill it. Who's the they? Who's there? Well, the they and the there is the heavens, the firmament, and all of creation is speaking. So their line is what they're saying. It goes forth. It fills the entire world. And you'll notice that in verse 3, what I really didn't cover yesterday was that no speech or language, there is no speech and there are no words without their voice being heard. That is, no matter where man exists on the earth, we are always hearing because the creation is testifying to us. So we know who the audience is. We know who the speaker is. We know that it's in every place where man is. As a matter of fact, it goes beyond that. It's in every place, even where man isn't, because it fills all the earth. Men haven't filled the entire earth yet. I mean, we've come close, but just imagine, 6-7 billion people on the planet, and still there are large tracts of land that have not been used for habitation. Great tracts in all the continents that are just personless. But this testimony goes out across the globe. It doesn't matter where you are or happen to be, you're going to hear the glory of God testified by the heavens. And then we have this statement about the sun. The end of 4, 5, and 6 tells us about this sun that has been placed in the heavens, and he's running his course, and there's nothing hidden from his heat. That, too, is a testimony of God's order and his creative power. Now, the ancient church, let me just make mention of this, has translated this, or rather has interpreted this to mean that the apostles and their language has gone out through the entire earth. And the reason they interpret it that way is because Paul, in the book of Romans, in the New Testament, he says this in verse 18 of chapter 10. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. Who's he talking about? The preaching of the gospel and those that preach it. So the ancient church said, well, this represents the apostles and those evangelists and ministers who are preaching the word of God, because Paul takes Psalm 19 verse 4 and he uses it for his argument here in Romans chapter 10, saying that the gospel is that thing that brings faith, and it's gone out into all the earth. And of course, Jesus said that the gospel had to be preached to the entire globe. That's how the ancient church interprets this passage. Join me tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 7 and 8 and a little change here in the Psalms. So join me then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.